My fellow beautiful South Africans, in today's video, I want to address something that has been boiling for a long time now. Because nowadays, you see these foreigners running their mouth, speaking all sorts of things about us as black South Africans. Speaking whilst they are here in South Africa illegally, some of them speaking inside their home countries, acting as if they understand South African politics more than us South Africans who actually live under these realities, who actually vote, who actually pay taxes, South Africans who actually suffer here in South Africa. These people are running around here telling us that Julius Malema is the best thing to ever come out of South African politics. And us as black South Africans, we are sleeping. Basically, we are dumb because we don't want to follow Julius Malema and his narratives. You know why they say this? Because Julius Malema protects them. Because Julius Malema supports them. Hell, he told them to find creative ways to come to South Africa. He prioritizes them more than he prioritizes South Africans. So obviously, they are going to support Julius Malema. They are going to love Julius Malema. But the sad part about it is that they are running around here telling us that we are sleeping as South Africans for not supporting Julius Malema. Let's speak more about this.
Julius Malema is big for... He's more valuable for the entire African continent than he is just for South Africa. South Africans don't know what they have. That's why they are willing to have... Let me clip it for them. South Africans, or should I say black South Africans, truly don't know what they have in the palm of their hands. They are willing to live in a world where 80% of their land is owned by the minorities. The same minorities that said that you now have your freedom. They still own the land. South Africans don't know it. They don't know what they have. That's why even in the case of Julius Malema means more to Africa than to South Africa. Because South Africa, they're sleeping. They don't know their true potential. They've never even tasted the fruit of that free South Africa. They've never owned the land. The land still... nothing changed since 1994. By the way, black South Africa, nothing changed. The land is still is still in the hand of the white man. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
It's true. They're faking it right here. Just because you got the World Cup in 2010, you think you all that. Just because you won a few rugby World Cups, how many did they win? 3 or 4?
2.
I think 4. But at the end of the day, yes, they have to be told the truth because that's the only way they will come to the table and talk about these issues. South Africa, black South Africa especially, you got to wake up.
You know, I want to make something very, very clear here. You see, if you are not a South African, you do not get to dictate our politics. If you are not a South African, you do not get to insult us for voting based off of our lived realities or voting for what we think is right. If you are not a South African, you do not get to lecture us about what's good or what's bad for our country, a country that you don't belong to. You do not get that luxury because you do not face the crime that is brought by undocumented people here in South Africa. You do not pay the taxes that make sure that this country keeps on running. You do not lose your loved ones because of the drugs that are brought by illegal foreigners here in South Africa. You do not face any of those things. So how dare you tell us that we are sleeping as South Africans? How dare you trying to push a narrative to make it seem as if we are dumb as black people for wanting to vote for people who are actually going to focus on the issues of South Africa instead of leaders who want to focus on the issues of Africa? Why would we vote for someone who ignores the nonsense that is happening here in South Africa and want to bring more people into South Africa, telling them that they must find creative ways to come to South Africa? That's not a leader that we want here in South Africa. We want a leader that is going to prioritize South Africans. Let's be honest. You know, the only reason why these foreigners worship Julius Malema is simply because he supports them. He speaks for them. Julius Malema treats them better than the presidents inside their home countries. So why wouldn't they worship Julius Malema? Why wouldn't they love Julius Malema? But let me tell you something about a leader like Julius Malema. In fact, a person like Julius Malema is not a leader, is a liability for South Africa. Because if you are going to lead a state like South Africa, you must first make sure that the people inside of that state are happy before you can start trying to make other people outside of the state happy. How does it make sense for you to piss off the people of South Africa each and every day because you are always in defense of illegal activity here in South Africa? And you stand on that thing and say, I'm not going to change my stance because we are all brothers and sisters, a united Africa. Even though the people inside your home country are not happy about that stance. What kind of leader are you? Are you a leader or a liability? How can over 70% of the population in South Africa tell you that Julius Malema, we do not want what you are speaking about. Let us first try to fix the issues of South Africa. Let's chase these people without documents, take them back to their countries, and then you are always going to be in defense of those people and say, no, you are wrong, a united Africa. Is that a leader that you want us to vote for? We are not going to do that. We are smarter than that as South Africans because we already know what Julius Malema is going to do the minute we put him in power. He's going to make sure that he calls all these people that he said must find creative ways to come to South Africa. And then what is going to happen to our country, South Africa? We are going to lose our sovereignty. We are going to lose our authenticity, our dignity as a country. But this is something that these foreigners will never understand. Because what they want is just to come to South Africa to ruin our beautiful nation so that South Africa can look like their home countries. What they want to do is not bring about change here in Africa. They want a leader like Julius Malema who's going to say, yeah, right now, all of us as Africans, we are coming together. And then after that, it's going to be chaos all around Africa. That is what they want. They are waiting for the opportunity to come and destroy South Africa. Look at what illegal foreigners have done to South Africa right now. They've almost destroyed South Africa. Some parts of our cities you can see have turned into slums. Now imagine if we've given them now the privilege to move as they want. We know for a fact that people are not going to run and go to Zimbabwe. We know for a fact that people are not going to move and go to Malawi. People are just going to come to South Africa because South Africa is the best country here in Africa. That is what's going to happen, and we all know that. Even if it's not the only country where people will flood to here in South Africa, but I'm telling you, South Africa will be the #1 country with a lot of people. Chaos. That is not the reality that I want to live under. I am proud of my roots. I am proud of South Africa. You know, I am proud of this beautiful nation. I don't want it to be damaged by other people that I don't even relate to. And you know, there's this line that foreigners love to throw around and say, South Africans hate Julius Malema. No, we don't hate Julius Malema. We've simply outgrown the lies. We don't hate the man. We are just tired of him ignoring our problems here in South Africa. We are tired of him crying for countries outside of South Africa when his people, the same people who voted for him, are dying here in South Africa as a result of illegal foreigners. We are tired of him advocating for a united Africa whilst us as South Africans, we are trying to survive the collapse of our own state. We are tired of that nonsense. Because don't get me wrong here, unity is beautiful. Unity is very, very beautiful. Pan-Africanism is very powerful. Pan-Africanism is powerful. But let me tell you something, unity or the unity of Africa means nothing when South Africans can't get jobs here in South Africa right now because of other people who come from outside. Unity means nothing when South Africans keep on dying each and every day, robbed by people who are not supposed to be here in South Africa. It means nothing. First, we have to fix these issues that are plaguing South Africa right now. The day when there's no illegal foreigners running around South Africa abusing South Africans, it's then we can start speaking about unity. How does it even make sense for you to want us to unite with people that we experience each and every day and how they treat us? How do you expect us to unite with people that are the reason Our brothers and sisters are drowning in drugs. Some of these African countries have painted themselves very, very badly in the eyes of South Africans, to a point where we are even scared about the thought of coming together with those countries. Countries like Nigeria, do you know the nonsense that Nigerians have done to South Africa? And then you want us to imagine a time when we are united with Nigerians. If Nigerians didn't bother us here in South Africa and never painted themselves negatively in the eyes of South Africans, we would never have a problem with uniting with them, because we understand that they are people who respect their own country. But the fact that they don't even respect their own country, and then when they come to South Africa, they continue with that same behavior, we are never going to want to unite with those types of people, which is something that Julius Malema fails to think about. The only thing that he's thinking about is just being politically correct. He wants to boost his political career here in Africa by making sure that he advocates for other people when his own people are dying here in South Africa. That's nonsense. And here's the irony. Many of these foreigners who are attacking us as South Africans for not wanting to support Julius Malema ran away from their own countries because of corruption, because of war, because of collapsing systems, because of shaking politics that have no balance. Yet when they get here to South Africa, they want to lecture us about politics. Suddenly, they are masters of politics. They want to tell us who to vote for. They want to tell us how to think. But they failed to use their minds inside their own countries to fight their dictators. Suddenly, when they are here in South Africa, they are intellectuals who fail to use their smarts inside their home countries. My brother, listen, let me tell you something. You should be focusing on your own country. If you think that you are smart enough to want to tell South Africans what to do, then it means you are smart enough to try and fix the situation in your own country. Because if your country was working, if your country was progressing, you wouldn't be speaking about South Africa so much. If your country was working, really working, you wouldn't be out here making videos about South Africa. You know, take me for example as Emmanuel. If you can look at my content, I speak about South Africa. Almost all of my videos is about South Africa and the things that are happening here in South Africa. You know why I speak about South Africa? Because South Africa is a progressive country. Because South Africa is the best country here in Africa. And South Africa is my country. So I am going to speak about South Africa. You will never hear me speaking about Malawi or the issues of Malawi. You will never hear me speaking about Nigeria or the things that are happening in Nigeria. You will never hear Emmanuel speaking about Congo and the issues of Congo. You know why? Because I am not concerned about those countries. And the reason I am not concerned about those countries is because I am a South African and my country, South Africa, is the most interesting country here in Africa. And I don't care who says what. You might think it's not, but to me, it's the most interesting country here in Africa. And that's why I speak about it. You will never hear me speaking about other countries. If your country, since you are saying we don't own the land, if you in your countries, you are owning the land, why isn't your country progressive? Why aren't you speaking about your country each and every video that you make to actually show us that, you know, my country where people own all the land, where black people own all the land, we are a good country, we are a progressive country. Why can't you make those kinds of videos? The fact that you are out here online focusing on South Africa and the issues of South Africa, telling us the land about South Africa, the land is owned by these ones in South Africa, simply says that you are envious about South Africa. Because if you were not envious, you wouldn't even be focusing on South Africa that much. You would be focusing on your own progressive country where you own all the land. South Africans are done with leaders who romanticize foreign issues whilst ignoring our own crisis. We need service delivery. We need jobs for the youth. We need accountability. We need proper border control. We need leaders who are going to put South Africa and South Africans first. And if a foreigner has a problem with that, then that's a problem they will have to deal with on their own. But they won't tell us what to do as South Africans. This is our country, our elections, our future. And no Tom, Dick, and Harry is going to tell us what to do here. So, to all the foreigners who are always out here telling us that we are dumb or we are sleeping because we don't want to do what they want, please relax yourselves. Bring up over. Stay in your lane and respect the people of the country that hosts many of your desperate brothers and sisters. Because you might like Julius Malema, but we live here in South Africa. We face the consequences. And we are not going to vote based off emotions. We are going to use our experience of living in South Africa to decide who we vote for. And we, as South Africans, we are not going to vote for leaders who would rather prioritize other people instead of putting South Africa and South Africans first. I think I'm clear enough, even for the people at the back. That is just what I wanted to talk about in this episode of The Spotlight. So please tell me on the comment section down below, what do you think about everything that I had in this episode. But then if you just enjoyed this video or you learned something new, please leave a like and subscribe to this channel. I would really appreciate it. My name is Emmanuel and this is Mzansi Versity, the place where we transform lives through knowledge and information. Let's meet again on another video.